wabarakatuh, and good morning to all the audience and our panelists. My name is Nur Qistina and I am your moderator for today. So today we are going to talk about e-sport. Should e-sport be considered as real sport? So before we start, I would like to introduce you to our three respected panelists who are willing to give their time and attention apart from their busy life to discuss with us today about e-sport. So the first panelist is the Minister of Youth and Sport, Mr. Muhammad Nazwan Nakiuddin. And the second panelist is the CEO of the Activation Blizzard, Mr. Muhammad Syakir. And the third panelist is the PUBG Mobile Global Champion, Mr. Muhammad Haziq Ikhwan. So, nowadays the word e-sport have become very common word to be heard anywhere, everywhere. Even if people didn't involve in e-sport, they have the general idea about e-sport because e-sport has become very popular topic to discuss these days. So, what is e-sport and what do you know about e-sport? So according to the official website Wikipedia, the word e-sport is actually stand for electronic sport. E-sport is a form of sport competition using video games. So the earliest known video games competition was held at Stanford University for the game called Space War in 1972. And then in 1980, the earliest large-scale competition included more than 10,000 participants across the United States, and the number of participants was grow rapidly after that time. So starting 2000 era is where the video games started held the global tournament since the broadband internet network was the mass building at that time. And until now, the video game keep growing and become more modern by time. So, to our panelists, do you see e-sport as a real game or not?
Firstly, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me today. As a minister, just like the other sport, I see e-sport can also help in the country economy. First of all, just like the other sport, like basketball, e-sport can build teamwork between players. For me, teamwork is a very important element in one's life, especially to the youth out there. It is because the teenagers are the reflection of the country. If we can give birth to that ideal generation, it will be a great success to that country. So in order to do so, I see that e-sport is a very great platform to make that happen. Second, just like the other sport, if you join any competition and win, you will get a very exclusive prize, and sometimes it can be cash and can be reached until $1 million. So we can see here that one can gain income by joining that e-sport tournament. Sometimes people make e-sport as their main income, just like Datuk Miss Bonside and Datuk Lee Chonge, who plays badminton as career and main income. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to the moderator. So, I as a CEO of the Activation Blizzard company have many experience in the industry. So, for me, why e-sport should be considered as a real sport is because just like the other sport, the other traditional sport, e-sport is a very competitive, just like the traditional sport. So, all the participants in the e-sport or the traditional sport is they just want to win the game. So we can see the similarities between the traditional sport or the e-sport. The second, when it comes to the competition, e-sport tournament or just like the traditional sport tournament, they have their own organization. Just like in e-sport, they have their principal, their coach, their player, athlete, the game analysis, and just like the traditional sport. So we can say that in organizing a game or a team, they e-sport just like the traditional sport. Then also e-sport have their own rule and regulation just like the traditional sport. We can see in soccer or in football it have FIFA, but in e-sport, especially in US, they have their own rule regulation, just like we have NHFS and DESPA, which provide the or giving the rule when the participant want to enter their game. So in DESPA, one of our division is Blizzard Entertainment, also participating or also have the partnering with the organization which provide the rule. So one common rule or one of the common rule used in the e-sport is you cannot hacking, cheating or ghosting in every game. So that's forbidden in every game. Then just like the traditional sport, the e-sport player also can injured, which has they also can have or can feel the back pain or the sometimes the muscle injured. So the last one is the term of nature of activity and the operation of business model. So we all know, or if you don't know, in e-sport, not only the nature of activity or the nature of competition, but also the form of organized event, from judging, commentaries, live audience, broadcasting, and the reward or the cash for the players or for the winners. So this same just like the traditional sport, that every game or every competition have their part, which is broadcasting, and they also. So in e-sport, we also have the many big competition that provide the huge amount of money, and you can see that in every e-sport competition, the fans from around the world want to see their team to fight. So it is also like the traditional competition or traditional sport, just like football. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the moderator. Firstly, I am very grateful to be here today, representing all the esport player out there. So, as a professional player, of course, I see esport as a real sport. First, because for the final stage, just like the football league, it was held in a big stadium and surrounded by thousands of fans that support you and cheers you from behind. At that time, you can feel nervous, anxious, and our heartbeat can be so fast, just like all the athletes in other sport. Yes, esport qualified as a real sport, just as a video game qualified as a real entertainment and art. Esport has much of same emotional impact that physical sport have. It brings people together socially, bridging both the jokes and the nerd through shared competition. It gives players a sense of accomplishment, belonging, camaraderie, and an appreciation for hard work. Esport also has spectators, often many more than at physical sport events. Yes, esport isn't just hype. It produces real world impact, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and it is on its way to being a bigger business than traditional sport. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So I have a question for our Minister of Youth and Sport. The question is, what are the effects e-sport can give to our country? So thank you.
For the developing country like Malaysia, sport can give a lot of benefit to our country in terms of technology. It is because our country see esport as a very good opportunity in order to improve our technology. Since right now, every country compete each other to prove their worth and dignity. Second, as the esport industry keep growing, it can increase the job opportunity like the game designer, the coach, and the host for the tournament, and many more. So, from that, we can decrease the unemployment out there. Third, if we help the esport tournament in our country, it can increase the country income. It is because the supporter or the player from the overseas that come to join the competition can increase the economy of our country, besides increase the tourism industry in our country. That's all from me. Thank you.
So to our second panelist, Mr. Muhammad Syakir, people claim that e-sport cannot be considered as real sport as it doesn't require a lot of physical movement. As a CEO of big gaming company, what do you think about it, and do you have a future plan to make the player move more while enjoying the e-sport?
Okay, first we have to know what is the sport actually. From the Oxford Dictionary, sport is an activity involving physical abilities or physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. But for me, in more precise way, sport can be defined as an activity involving human performance and skill in which an individual or teams compete using agreed open rule regulation. So we as a game company that provide the entertainment or the game for the sport. Okay, so to meet the physical activities or physical exhaustion requirement in the just like the traditional sport, and in case if you don't know about it, our technology in video game have been improved a lot for the past few years. So we already invented the machine that called VR, or we know as the virtual reality. When the players using that, they will feel like they were really in the game, and they have to move their body or the physical just like the real game. If they play the war game, they have to move and seek for the hiding place, just like the real. So the player have to move a lot, not only for their arms but also their legs, head, wrists while walking, running, jogging or hiding in that game. So for the statement that the sport are bad for one health cannot be used anymore, because since the technology have proved and can prove the problem and overcome, and we're improving more in the future. So it's not relevant that we somewhat said that e-sport just cannot be the real sport. That's all from me. Thank you.
So I have a question to our professional player. I heard that as a second panelist mentioned before, that the organization in the e-sport team also have coach. So I'm very curious what roles that the coach plays, and is that really need to have a coach in e-sport team? And what type of coaching that you must go through in order to become a pro player?
So of course, we do have a coach. In terms of training, we always follow the advice given by the coach, like how many time we do need to practice per day. So in a day, usually we practice in 7 hours at least. And then regarding our coach is not an ordinary person. He have many experience in the league, in the esport league. Not like us is just a newbie in this league. So he teach us about the strategy, the simple mistake we must avoid, and the major mistake. And then the strategy to winning in the critical condition. Besides that, our coach also train us to workout session. Also train us for workout session. That's all from me. Thank you.
Oh, really? Do you also have a physical training? It was so unexpected because I thought that e-sport player doesn't have a workout and so on. So I really have no idea about it. Is it really needed?
Yes, of course. We do need to work out in average 4 days a week. It is because our body need to be in a very good condition to make sure that we give the best performance for our game. Physical training like stretching, the simple stretching is also needed to maintain our mental stability. Esport also require a good reflection and good mind to come up with the strategies in a very short time in order to win the competition. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So, from the discussion, we can conclude that e-sport can be considered as real sport because there are many similarities between e-sport and the other real sport out there. Because e-sport can also make the player become really competitive. And the second one is e-sport can give a lot of benefits to our country, especially for our economy. So, and the third one is e-sport can also e-sport also need coaching and so on, so that the player can improve their skill and so on. So lastly, I'd like to add some fact about the sport named chess. Chess has been considered as real sport by the International Olympic Committee since 2000, that about 20 years ago. At first, chess also did not consider as sport since chess is a lack of physical movement and and only require mental skill. But after a few years, chess has been considered as sport due to some factors that have been considered by the organization. So from that, I didn't see why we cannot accept e-sport as real sport. So that's all from us. Thank you.